Welcome back, everyone. Our next presenter is Logiq Inc. It trades on the OTCQX under the symbol LGIQ and is a U.S.-based leading global provider of e-commerce and fintech business enablement solutions. Please welcome its CEO, Tom Furukawa. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you, Anna. It's great to be here.
We're excited to hear your presentation. The floor is yours.
Excellent. All right. So let's skip to the meat of the slide. So we'll go through our disclosures. All right, so here we go. So before I go into the details of Logiq's products and services, I'd like to take you through some of our key stats. With our stock price, looks like we're at around $4 today. We've been as low as 2 and as high as 14. Our market cap is around 90 million, which is quite low compared to our comp. So some of our closest comps would be Acuity Ads. Market cap of 494 million. Another comp would be Media Alpha with a market cap of 960 million. So you can kind of see the upside there. Now, as you can see, we have grown our revenue year over year to 37.9 million in 2020. Now, our Q2 2021 revenue came in at 8.5 million with a record high margin of 29.5%. For the first half of 2021, our revenue came in at 16.4 million, ahead of analyst projections, with a gross profit of 4.7 million. Now, the reason for our continued increase in margin improvement is due to a key strategic management decision we made last year to transition our business and focus on higher margin and higher quality revenue streams. And you'll see it reflected in our financials, and I'll cover a little bit more of this in the later slides. And also, another thing to note is that Zacks Small Cap Research, so they follow us, and stemming from our Q2 earnings, they recently published an updated report on Logiq, which put our stock price target at $17.10 per share. So that's pretty cool. All right, so let's go to the next slide here. Now, at Logiq, we imagine a world where e-commerce provides a level playing field for any company to thrive based upon the merits of their offerings and execution. Now, this is very important to us, and we take it to heart with every client we work with. Now, the presumption here is that e-commerce today is unfair, and it is, favoring just a few mega corporations. Now, I'll go further into this in a few minutes. At the core of our business, we develop superior e-commerce technology for SMBs and provide guidance to help them compete against competitors of any size. Now, at our essence, we connect brands to consumers by simplifying e-commerce because it is quite complex today. We help our clients acquire new customers through our technology platform and services offerings. All right, so while our clients interface with our platform, data is our core asset. Our platform processes massive amounts of consumer data through artificial intelligence and machine learning to connect the right consumer to the right brand, and we have a software as a service, a do-it-yourself platform that is used to target those consumers through digital marketing campaigns. Now, our customer base ranges from micro businesses in Southeast Asia to Fortune 1000 companies leveraging our customer acquisition marketing platform. Now, at Logiq, we eat and breathe digital marketing and customer acquisition technology. That's what we do. Our management team is comprised of industry veterans and leaders in this space, such as Yahoo, IBM, Axiom LiveRamp, and Magnite, formerly known as the Rubicon Project, to name a few. Now, the opportunity for Logiq is huge. I think that's an understatement. E-commerce is making up an increasingly larger portion of total retail sales, forecasting 4.9 trillion this year. Now, what we have seen is that as e-commerce grows, businesses are aggressively investing in their e-commerce marketing and customer acquisition programs. They're looking at Logiq as the answer to help them grow. It's a great place to be. Now, Logiq is a global company, global technology company. We have offices in California, Colorado, Minnesota, New York, and offices in Southeast Asia. Now, we have two divisions we report on, App Logiq and Data Logiq. Now, each division is tailored to the unique needs of the market we serve. App Logiq is focused on providing mobile apps, logistics, and fintech solutions to micro and small businesses in Southeast Asia. Logiq focuses on e-commerce marketing software and lead gen services for SMBs in North America. Now let's dig a little deeper into Logiq. Now within the emerging markets, I think maybe some of you guys have traveled there. Traffic congestion is a common problem. Now we can use Indonesia as an example here. It's the 11th largest e-commerce economy in the world, with 376 billion people. Now, in just normal traffic, it can take more than an hour to travel 1 mile, much longer during rush hour. So one of the problems we're solving there is for consumers in densely populated urban areas, those big urban cities with lots of skyscrapers, the ability to get fast food delivery and groceries. And for merchants, we offer a do-it-yourself app builder, logistics management, and digital payment solution. Now, one of the major differences in emerging markets is a massive adoption and penetration and usage of mobile devices. Now, as such, our products in the Logiq offerings are all mobile-based solutions. Within Logiq, we offer 3 products: Create App, a do-it-yourself app builder; PayLogic, an e-wallet payment solution; and GoLogic, a hyperlocal pedestrian delivery service. Within Southeast Asia, one of the key problems is to get micro and small businesses online, and also to bank the unbanked with our fintech solution. All of these are provided by Logiq. Now, the scale of Logiq products are massive. Remember, 276 billion people in Indonesia alone, which represents a large portion of our business. Now, ATOS is the brand name of our Logiq solutions in Indonesia. So you'll see it reflected here as ATOS Pay and ATOS Go. ATOS Pay is being used by 14,000 outlets across 60,000 agents. Right? An outlet could be, for example, a kiosk that's selling mobile phone top-ups or data top-ups. ATOS Go delivery app has over 140,000 active users across 15,000 merchants, right? Merchants being a restaurant or a grocery store. In Q2 2021, Logiq revenue came in at 2.8 million, which is a 17% quarter-over-quarter increase this year. Gross margins improved to 25% from 17% Q2 last year. Now, Logiq revenue accounts for 34% of overall revenue. So now let's move over to the United States and look at the Logiq business. Now, remember when I said e-commerce market is unfair? Well, here's the landscape today. The mega brands, the top 500 companies in the US control almost 70% of the US e-commerce market. Now, this is not a really good market. It shouldn't look like this. It's also unsustainable as there are over 500,000 companies struggling to compete. At Logiq, we offer 2 solutions for agencies and brands. Number 1, lead generation services to help brands find and acquire customers online. And we use all of our technology in-house. We like to say we eat our own dog food or filet mignon, depending on how you look at it. And second, we offer a software as a service, do-it-yourself media buying and consumer data management platform for SMB agencies. Now, for those more familiar with ad tech, it is also referred to as a DSP, a demand-side platform, that also has a DMP, a data management platform connected to it. Now, I have been in ad tech industry for over 16 years, have seen it grow, really kind of grew with the internet. Computer science major over here at UC Irvine, wrote code for many years and turned product manager. So I started my ad tech career at Yahoo. And during those early days of the internet, media sales teams would negotiate directly with agencies and sell specific placements on websites, like the Yahoo homepage placement being the most lucrative in the world at that time. Now, I worked as a product manager in ad tech division, designing the next generation digital marketing platforms and helping to evolve the digital marketing industry. Now, today, there are millions of ads per second purchased via real-time auctions, much like the stock market, but an exponentially larger scale, and it never stops. This is known as programmatic advertising, which is forecasted to reach 98 billion this year and account for 68% of digital media advertising. That's huge, and that's growing. So if you visit CNN.com or ESPN or any other website for that matter, all of the ads you see went through an auction, sold, and ads were served in less than 200 milliseconds. A fun fact, a blink of an eye measures at 300 milliseconds. That's pretty insane. If you watch Hulu or Roku or listen to Spotify or podcasts, those videos and audio ads went through a programmatic auction as well. It's everywhere. Our platform is a do-it-yourself media buying platform that interfaces with digital advertising agencies and connects to all of the publishers on the internet, facilitating programmatic ad buying. Now, digging a little deeper into Data Logiq, we have two different kinds of customers. One is through our services team, where we offer lead generation programs across 10 plus industry verticals. Our platform uses big data and AI to identify online consumers who are in the market for a specific product or service. Now, some of the major verticals include Medicare, home improvement, solar, insurance, to name a few. The other offering is for SMB agencies, where we provide a software as a service digital marketing platform. Now, we launched it on March 30th this year, and we already have over a dozen agencies signed up, successfully running digital marketing programs across numerous internet channels, and we are signing up more every week. Now, a little bit of the financials. In Q2 2021, Data Logiq generated $5.5 million in revenue, which is almost a 50% increase over Q2 of 2020. Data Logiq accounts for 66% of our overall revenue. Now, Logiq has numerous clients and partners across the globe, and here are some of the ones that we can publicly disclose. For example, you may recognize Purple Mattress, which has really grown selling mattresses direct to consumers online. They use our AI technology to identify customers with the highest probability to purchase a high-end mattress and target them with digital marketing campaigns. Now, let's review our financials at a glance. Now, you will see that our top line revenue for first half 2021 has gone down compared to first half 2020. As I mentioned at the beginning of this, it's due to a strategic decision to move away from low margin revenue, which was driving a lot of our business early last year. Now, that was no easy task. Right? We took a hard look at our customer acquisition costs and revenues coming in from those customers and made a tough decision to change the way we acquire customers. We knew it would affect top line revenue, but it was the right thing to do for our business and for our shareholders. The challenge was to whether we could make up the difference in revenue, and I think we did an amazing job. So if you look at the gross profit information there, that's where you see our decision and execution showing the fruits of our labor. Q2 2021, gross profit increased 101% to $2.4 million compared to $1.2 million in Q2 of 2020. First half 2021 gross profit is up 21% to $4.7 million versus $3.9 million in first half 2020. So this is us executing on the plan to increase high margin revenues. So to summarize, Logiq is in the customer acquisition business with products in digital marketing, lead generation, and mobile commerce solutions. We are in a massive e-commerce market, which grew 25.7% in 2020 to 4.2 trillion and expected to climb to 4.9 trillion this year with no signs of slowing. We have grown in revenue year over year, have consistently grown quarter to quarter in revenue and margins since Q4 of 2021. And finally, we feel we are currently very undervalued compared to our industry comps, but I don't think this will last too long. All right, so that's the last presentation slide. And so I can open up to Q&A.
Great. We do have some questions for you, Tom. Mike Holder wants to know, he's trying to better understand Data Logiq. Can you provide some examples of your customers and how they use your products?
Yes, great question. So I'll cover some of the customers that we're able to publicly disclose. And remember, Data Logiq has two different business lines, if you will. One is the software as a service platform. The other is lead gen services. So on the SaaS side, one of the customers will be Decibel. Right now, one of the things that we added recently is audio advertising. That's why I was able to mention Spotify and those type of platforms. So Decibel is a full service agency, and they completely focus on audio advertising. So their customers will be working with Decibel. Now, Decibel will help them with the strategy, even create the actual audio ads themselves, but they use Logiq digital marketing to be able to execute and find the right inventory on Spotify and other audio sites to be able to run those advertising placements. Now, we have other companies like Sway Group, who they're really focused on influencer marketing. And so what they do is work with brands to do both not only branding, but also conversion-based advertising. And so they may have an influencer come in and use the influencer as a part of their advertising units and run video ads or display ads. But the execution and target of those customers, they use our platform to do so. So one thing that's interesting about having a platform that agencies use is it's a one-to-many relationship. So someone like the Sway Group may have 10 to 20 to 30 actual customers of theirs. And so those customers log into a white-labeled Logiq interface, and they interface with the agencies. So even though right now we have over 12 agencies signed up, the actual reach we have in terms of the clients themselves and the brands is pretty enormous. Now, the other part is the lead gen services. And so someone like Quinn Street, I think that's a good example. So this is it's in lead gen, you basically have to find the people who are in market for, let's say, a mortgage. Right now, you need to advertise to those people, have them come to a site to learn more about the mortgage services available, and then fill out a lead gen form to say, hey, I'm interested. Now that lead gen information, or that consumer who said, hey, I'm interested in a mortgage, we do all of that from the very beginning using our technology to run the advertising, bring them to an informational page and have them fill out the form. And then those leads get sold to someone like a Quinn Street who has a relationship with someone like Rocket Mortgage. So that's how that flow works. Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you.
Brian Vo would like to learn more. Want you to elaborate on a possible SPAC.
Yeah, SPACs, they're all the rage right now. So one of the things that's interesting with Logiq and being in an emerging market and the success we've had there in places like Indonesia, and there's other markets that we're going into, which I can't publicly disclose yet. There's been some really big interest about US-based Nasdaq SPACs that want to put together an IPO for emerging market technology companies. And so Logiq really is one of those companies that we're in discussions with. And so I can't disclose any more than that, but if that happens, those shares of selling off the Logiq will come directly back to the shareholders. So it's kind of a neat carrot, if you will.
Okay. Do you have any plans to uplist to the Nasdaq? Fran Christie wants to know that.
Yes, yeah, the old uplist question. So obviously, I can't disclose anything private, but there's many companies like us who have done a neo IPO. So that's the other thing we did recently is, we're OTCQX in the United States. We did an IPO at a tier 1 Canadian exchange called the Neo. Now the Neo has a program called the Passport Program that allows OTC companies to more easily uplist to a Nasdaq. Now that is a logical path for us. One thing to note is that uplisting or IPOing a Nasdaq is very difficult. And so is doing an IPO on the Neo. And so the reason why it makes it easier is the diligence, the time, the commitment, and the cost of doing an IPO on the Neo. It is a lot, right? And we're able to go through that structure, do a successful IPO. And so someone like Nasdaq says, okay, we don't actually have to take another company through the ringer because they're already listed on a tier 1 global exchange. That's why it makes it easier to uplist. So all I can say there is that it's a logical next step for Logiq.
A. Robin says, I hear a lot of cookies going away and that it can affect digital advertising. Can you elaborate on whether that impacts your business?
Oh yeah. I mean, the whole cookie part, I could we could probably talk for hours on that, but I'll kind of try to keep a high level. Now, cookies itself is actually a good thing. When you go to your browser, save your login information, the last page you visited, those are all first-party cookies, right? So if you go to an E-Trade, all the information that you did with that session, E-Trade is dropping a first-party cookie, so the next time you come in, it saves all the stuff that you did. So those are good things. Now, what we're talking about is not first-party cookies, but third-party cookies. So those are cookies that basically when someone sells your information to a third party that then they can target. So the regulations around those is starting to become more and more strict. And I think it's a good thing because there's so many proliferation of third-party cookies with hundreds of thousands of vendors. So if you say, you know what, take my information off the internet, actually it's technically impossible to do so. And so the regulations coming in is to make that something that can happen in the future where you as a consumer have more control of your information online. Now for us at Logiq, one of the things that's really important is not only the first party cookie, which we manage more on the first party cookie side because we have relationships with agencies that have relationships with the brands. So we can actually manage a much better way. And we don't go off and sell consumer data without their consent. So a lot of those things we're protected from. But the other part is contextual relevance of pages. One of the press releases we did recently was with GumGum. What GumGum does is uses natural language processing, and it could understand the meaning of a page. So for example, one of our customers is Rockform. They sell really nice high-end cases for phones. Right now, their customers will be people who already have the phones, not people who don't have the phones. Because typically, if you're looking for a new phone, you're not going to buy a case first, right? Phone, then case. And so what they're going to look for is to target customers who are looking at content on, let's say, how to better configure your phone or how to do something XYZ that a phone owner, and maybe a new phone owner, would be reading. So that's where contextual understanding of a page and targeting people using content as a reference to the person. Now that we can do all day long, and that's a key technology we added recently.
Good to know. Fantastic. Shane Mosley wants to know, there are many tech companies, they've recently released great earnings, but weak guidance. Do you guide forward? And if so, how do you see your growth over the next 2 quarters?
Yeah, so we have analysts that follow us, and pretty recently we had an analyst come up with forward-looking projections quarter over quarter. And we look at those projections, and we're actually pretty comfortable with what analysts are expecting from us. The best I can say is that continued up and to the right in revenue, continued up and right in margins, that's where we're focused on. Just nice, steady growth.
Jason Wiley asks, how easy is your platform to use? Can anybody do it, or do they need someone like a marketing expert to implement it?
Yeah, so today we are focusing on agencies, SMB agencies. So for that, typically, let's say they have expertise, or at least they're knowledgeable about doing Facebook ads, for example, or Google ads. Right now, when they come into our platform, the way it's laid out, the navigation, the usability is very familiar for someone like that. We also have e-commerce brands that are using our platform, and they're learning how to use it and running successfully. But in terms of our overall market approach, SMB agencies is our sweet spot today. And what we want to do in the future is go a bit down market to more smaller e-commerce companies themselves. But to do that, I think we do need to do a little bit more simplified interface than what we have today. So our target markets agencies, they find it easier to adopt. They're literally on the platform within days of signing the contract. So I think we're in the right spot today.
John Hansen asks, what's your exit strategy? Are you looking to become a takeover target, or is your future organic growth?
Yeah, it's organic as well as some key acquisitions. One of the things that if you look back into Logiq, a couple of years ago, we acquired the lead gen business and really expanded our footprint in North America. And in actually, it was Q1 this year, we closed the acquisition of Rebel AI, which then we launched as Logiq Digital Marketing, and that's the SaaS platform. And then last year, we also acquired the AI technology called Fixel that really understands the probability of someone buying a product or service. So we've really put together these 3 acquisitions to form our digital, our data logic division today. And so we, I think, are really good at finding good companies, integrating them, and bringing them to market and making that into a profitable cycle. So we could take what we have today, organically grow those, and that's what our projections are showing. But also, we are always looking at, very nice accretive acquisition targets.
Do you have any patents on your technology? Asks Jay Matthews.
Yeah, we do. So our AI, the probability engine has patents around that. Also, our DSP DMP technology also has patents as well.
And last question, what is the next major milestone for the company and how far out is it? Brandon Villanueva wants to know.
Yeah, I think, we talked about, a possible uplist to Nasdaq or, New York Stock Exchange. I'll just kind of keep that generic. That's a logical next step for us. And that really will allow a company like us to get even bigger exposure, especially on the the institutional investor side. So that's a big milestone. We also have kind of continued investor interest. And so we'll have kind of milestones of bringing more operating cash in the company. But for us, we're really looking at next year as our growth year. So we've been doing acquisitions, integrations, and bringing products to market in the last couple of years. But really, all of these things we're doing is to gear up, actually initially for the holiday season, where the most advertising media spend gets sold through the year, but really ramping up our customers and our revenue and also our margins into next year. But the nice thing about SaaS products is the margins are insane. And so the more we grow that SaaS part of our business, the better our margins will get.
Tom, we have a few more questions, but we are out of time, so we'll send them to you so you can answer directly, and we certainly hope you come back on our conference and present again. Thank you for this great presentation.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for your time and attention. I appreciate it.
All right, everyone, stay with us as we transition to the next presenter. You'll see a black screen, but we're coming right back. See you soon.